In the umpire? Proximity to the catchers, where we're going. Yep. So, I've played catcher before. It's been a long time. How did I feel when Chuck, as the umpire, put the umpire's hand on my back before the pitch was made? I hate it. You know why? Because there's times where you lose your balance with just a minor shift with that umpire's hand. So what's the position that, as the home plate umpire, Chuck ought to be in? We still want him in the slot. We just covered that, right? Everybody understand that? How far back should Chuck be from the catcher, and why?
Is this good?
No.
No.
Why did I say no?
Too close.
Yeah, you don't want to be bumping the catcher. Certainly don't push him back.
Well, this one is as much safety for you as it is for the catcher. If he's down and I'm this close, what's going to happen?
It's going to be an umpire.
He's going to jump up and smack you right in the chin. That's not going to feel good.
Does that make sense? How far back behind the catcher? Because Chuck was too far back when he was 20 inches behind him. That actually causes you to lose vision of the strike zone. And you've already heard me say, as clearly as I know how to say it, before the pitch, you need to see the entire strike zone. Every pitch, every time, every game. Now in this situation, that in my mind, Chuck is perfectly positioned in the slot. If the catcher makes a move, a pass ball, as an example, and let's say it's an outside pass ball to this right-handed batter, what does Chuck need to do to get out of the catcher's way? Okay. Is that right if it's an outside pitch? No, it's backwards. It kind of figures because it's Chuck, okay? But the truth of the matter is you want to swing open, moving away from where the pitch and the catcher is likely to go. Does everybody understand that? If the pitch is outside, where's the catcher going to move? Where's your first move going to be? If the pitch is outside? Yeah, he's going to move towards the opposite batter's box, and he's going to head toward the backstop. Chuck shouldn't be in the way. Everybody understand that? Let's flip it over. A pitch behind the batter comes in. What's Chuck's move? The exact opposite. You swing the gate open, keep the ball in play. You always want to have your eyes and your chest to the ball, because I do not want to get hit in the back of the head by the catcher getting to the backstop, picking up the ball and ripping one to second base. So I want to be off to the side. I want to be out of the way, but I still want to be able to see the play. Why is it important to keep your eyes and your chest square to the ball? You're going to hear another Dennism. Have said this for years. Let the ball take you to the play. Let the ball take you to the play. If the catcher misses the pitch and he goes to retrieve that pitch that was behind the batter, and there's a runner on first base, think through this, where could be a possible play? Second base, that's right. And there could be even a play at third. You don't want to be in the way. And let me walk through this to make sure. If the ball gets way away and Chuck steps in the wrong direction to that inside pitch, catcher goes back to the backstop to retrieve that wild pitch. Runner rounds second base and keeps going toward third. Everybody understand the scenario? Where's the play likely to be? Third base first. Where's Chuck at? In the way. And just so you know, if a baseball hits you, it hurts. That's really, really revolutionary language. Don't get hit by a baseball. You'll save a bruise. Does that make sense?
Anybody knows anything about the ball? If it gets past the catcher and it hits that back fence there, what usually happens to it? Rolls back or shoots directions. So even if it's over here and I open this way, if he hits something back there, it could come this way. I want to be able to see where it's going, and I will see where the catcher is. In that case, if I see it going this way, I'm probably then going to switch back over to have it in my vision over here. I don't want to keep turning because now I got my back to stuff that's going on out here too. If you see it go this way, quickly turn back, come back and get it in your vision over here, right? Keep it in front of you, but keep it so part of you can still see what's going on out here.
Does that make sense to everybody? Literally, it's a get out of the way, but I've used the terminology, I'll open the gate, and I'm opening the gate away from where the ball is going. If the ball is outside, I'm literally pivoting this way. I'm still paying attention to the ball, and I want to stay out of the catcher's way because he's right here in front of me as the home plate umpire. Everybody make sense? In the event it's on the other side, you swing open the other way, but you still got to pay attention. If the ball happens to hit the post in the fence that is right in the middle, you don't have any idea where that ball's going. And you got to adjust and just make the best of it. Does that make sense? Let's do one more thing, and then I'm going to start with some of the involvement of you guys as first-time umpires demonstrating some of the calls that get made. So if you want to get nervous, now's your time, okay? Fair and foul ball call. Pitch is made, batter swings. Chuck is umpiring, he sees a high fly ball down the right field line, first base line. What should Chuck do?
No signal, fair or foul.
Fair, you got to determine whether it's fair or foul. You're right. And in the event it is foul, what you're saying, remind me of your name. Xavier, that's right. Xavier, if it's a foul ball, foul! And I'm standing astraddle the baseline is ideal.
Right, so the first thing I did,
You moved.
I turned down the line. Then I've got to determine if it's going out there, I'm going to follow it up the line a little bit. I'm not going to stay back there. Because if I stay back there, catcher, base runner could potentially be in my way. I've got to follow the base runners. They go this way so that I can get a view down the line of where that ball is.
Does everybody understand that? Make sense? Let's do a fly ball down the left field line. Somebody describe to Chuck, give him instructions where he needs to move and why.
Down the line to get into the play line.
Yep. So, and there's two routes that you may
This way?
take.
Is that right?
Well, on the baseline.
Well, again, so I'm being picky. First thing you do, swing out
Be looking down the line.
so you can get down the line.
If that's a line drive, you're not going to have much of a chance to get by the batter, and you want to be in position where you're ideally looking right directly down the line, not way over to the side like Chuck moved first, setting a bad example for you. You want to be on the line making the play.
Always swing so you're down the line either way.
And that applies, I've used fly balls as the example so far. The same thing happens on a ground ball. You still want to be in position to be able to see where the ball was, because if it's on the ground, first and third base can play a role in that. We're going to touch base on that here in just a minute.
But then, yes, to your point, if you've got the time, then you come down the line this way. After the batter runner has cleared path for you. They've got the right of way, don't get in their way. Let them move because they should hopefully be running. Then you get down the line and start coming this way.
That makes sense? So on those fly balls down either line, when does the umpire make the fair foul call?
After it hits the ground.
When it drops, what'd you say?
After it hits the ground.
After it hits the ground. Yep, that's the same thing. When else?
When the ball stops.
When the ball stops, that's true.
Inside the bases.
Goes out of play. There was another one over here. Same thing. What happens if a right fielder catches the fly ball down the right field line 10 feet fair? It's an out. What does Chuck do as the umpire in that situation? He steps out because when it's first hit, balls will curve sideways. He's signaling an out. What else does the umpire ideally say at that point in time?
Ball is caught! That's what I say.
I say, gotta catch! And I say it loud, because if I'm behind home plate, I want my partner to hear that. Everybody understand that? And I'm repeating this because I'm telling you, once you get into a game, things happen really fast. You've got to make it a reaction. You don't have time to think about it every time. Okay? Let's do some more audience participation. Can you come up here and be the umpire? And we're going to rotate amongst you three here real quick, and then we're going to move through the room, okay? What we've got, I'm actually going to deliver pitches, okay? And I want you to be ready because I'm going to throw the ball. What's the home plate umpire setup look like right now?
He's in the slot.
He's in the slot. Is he too far in the slot?
A little bit.
Yep. Come in. Chuck will help you.
So ideally, when he's here, you're looking just over his shoulder. If you can see this much, you're too far here. You can't see that outside as well, and you're cutting off part of your inside here because of where the batter's going to be sitting. Okay.
You guys probably couldn't hear everything that Chuck was saying. What he was saying was you want to position yourself where you can see the entire strike zone for every pitch. Does that make sense?
Right. You get too far over here like he was first. It gets harder to see the inside here because of how the batter's hands and everything are. You got a great view over there, but you can't see the inside. You get too far over here. Now you can't see the outside. Got a great view of the inside. It is about finding that sweet spot, that's why it's called the slot, between the batter and the catcher, so you can see inside and outside of the plate.
I'm going to deliver a pitch, and I'm not going to set it up with anything. I want the plate umpire to make the right call, and I want you guys to be evaluators and tell me whether he does it right, because we're going to learn together. Does it make sense? Here we go. Don't swing. No. So what does a plate umpire do in that situation?
What's a ball? No, again, what's the ball?
That's a fair ball.
There's no signal. That's just a voice. Ball. Yep.
Fair ball.
So we have a good question here. Signals. Strike signal. What's a strike signal? Let's get used to this. Baseball, they can do this or this, but because we do both baseball and softball, there's no this. There's no this. Get used to doing this. That is universal between the two sports. Go up with an L. Get it up here.
Above your shoulder.
Not here. What happens if you're here?
People behind you can't see it. Here, everybody on both sides of the field can see it. You notice my massive bicep, stop, I don't want to hear it. My bicep is parallel to the ground. That means my hand is going to be well above my shoulder. If it's above my shoulder, everybody in the park can see it.
What happens if it's here? Somebody still can't see it. Get it up. Get it up on a.
Do your low strike signal, the one you don't want used. From here, I cannot see what he's doing. You understand the illustration that we're trying to teach you? If he raises his arm up above his shoulder, everybody in the park can see that. And that's the same signal that's used for a strike or an out. Okay? Let's do this quickly.
One more.
Yep.
What's your ball signal? There is no signal, but what do? Vocalize that, and that's one of the few times that you use your voice only and no hand signals. So if it's just a horrible pitch, ball.
So here's a horrible pitch.
Ball.
You see what Chuck did? Was that rushed? Is he calling a ball before he gets to the plate? No. He waits till the catcher has the ball in his or her mitt, and then we'll say ball, and say it loud enough where at least the players that are close.
Right.
There's no hand signal to call a ball. Listen to me. There's no hand signal to call a ball. There is always a signal to call a strike. And in the event the batter doesn't swing, what else goes with the signal? Vocal. Strike! You jumped a little bit. Stay with me. And I realize I'm doing that loud. I want you to be loud too. Because if it's windy, that's not going to be heard. Now, let's rotate you
Last
three.
part on the ball. If it is a close ball, I tend to get louder. The ones that are just obvious, 100% without a doubt, a ball, it's just a ball. But if it's close, ball! Do you hear the difference in the two? Close ones. Help those coaches, help the parents, grandparents back there understand what you just did. If it's close, you go, ball.
Who hears
What was that? That was a strike, wasn't it? They're going to be all over you. Make it clear what you're doing. Don't give them reasons to talk to you and get on you. Because once they do, they're going to be on you the rest of the game. Don't give them a reason to get on you. Make everything you do clear.